Are you confused? Good, you aren't the only one. When this showed up in our feed, we weren't exactly sure what we were dealing with, but none of us could deny the fact that this was intriguing. Usually, Julius wouldn't bother himself with these kinds of things, but this time, he took an interest. He thought that if it was real, it could be a grasshopper that looks like that, probably because it's been suctioned. Aaron, on the other hand, thinks this might be extraterrestrial, or something paranormal, if terrestrial. Personally, I have mixed feelings about it, but what do you guys think? While you share your thoughts on that, take a look at this one too. You see the white being walking around in the distance, right? Oh, would you believe me if I told you that this was supposed to have been recorded on a property that was meant to have one new occupant? Somehow, when the individual reviewed the clip from his camera, he saw this person or being pacing around. The funny thing is, not only does he live alone, but he has no neighbors. His property is in a secluded area in the mountains, which got him wondering, who or what was this being? Why was it there, and why did it wait to show up only after he had officially moved in? As important as these questions are, he hasn't received official responses yet, and he's been unable to catch the lady as well. Everyone who heard his story or seen clips from the location believes he's dealing with a ghost. He's repeatedly stated he doesn't believe in such things, but what do you also think? Growing up, attics, basements, and backyards were places I avoided. Not that I had caught a ghost in any of these places, but they just made me uncomfortable. Can't, however, be compared to the case of this young girl who noticed a crack in the ground of her mom's backyard. She goes to investigate, and she notices that there's actually a sealed-off room beneath the ground. Naturally, she was puzzled and had questions. With no one near her to help, she recorded the whole thing and placed it on one of the paranormal platforms, hoping someone could help out. Many who saw this were left disturbed. Some thought it was an ongoing crime scene, whereas others thought it might have been used to commit some atrocious crimes in the past. Whatever the situation, we can only speculate as no one has the actual facts. What would you have done in her situation, though? A Reddit user recently shared some chilling footage from their Ring camera. It was late at night when the camera alerted them to movement, so they checked the monitor, and what they saw was beyond unsettling. Standing at their door was a 7-foot-tall, smoky figure shaped like a human. It lingered there for moving or just a few seconds before slowly rotating and vanishing without a trace. The homeowners were shocked and terrified when they reviewed the footage. Many have speculated about what it could be: an extraterrestrial being, a ghost, or perhaps some other mysterious entity. You've seen the clip. What do you think of it?
Near the trees right here. You can see him move in a few seconds. There he goes. As you can see, this Sasquatch was captured on film.
This footage comes straight from Alberta, Canada. The man who captured it initially thought he was seeing a bear standing upright between the trees, so he quickly pulled out his camera to film. But as he continued recording, it became clear this was not a bear at all. The figure stood about 8 feet tall, with a broad, muscular frame and an unusual head shape that didn't resemble any bear. It seemed to be swaying side to side, almost as if trying to get a better look at him from behind the tree, yet it never fully revealed itself. The cautious movement and its upright posture made the man realize he may have captured something far more mysterious. Perhaps even the legendary Bigfoot. Julius doesn't believe the man's story, though, and thinks it's a bad edit. But then again, that's just Julius being Julius. What do you think, though? Could this be the elusive creature, really, that's Bigfoot lurking in the Alberta wilderness?
As you can see here shortly, he'll start to do the famous sway that they've been known to do.
就拍到一个不知道是什么东西，你来看。
In this intriguing footage from China, a woman captures a mysterious object floating in the sky. The object is rectangular, though it appears almost transparent, blending into the sky as if camouflaged. Faint lines of light seem to run along its edges, creating a glowing outline that's just enough to catch the eye, but still leaves the object partially hidden. The sighting raises some interesting questions. Could this be a cloaked UFO, subtly revealing itself with these lines of light? Or is it some kind of advanced aerial technology, reflecting light in a way that makes it nearly invisible? What do you think this strange object could be?
就拍到一个不知道是什么东西，你来看。
In this unsettling footage from a home surveillance camera, we see a figure emerge from the darkness of the forest into the front yard. This person appears disoriented, lingering near the edge of the trees. For a while, he remains just outside the house, and then he begins mumbling to himself, his voice low and incoherent. At one point, you can hear him start to cry and make strange noises, almost as if he's experiencing something deeply disturbing. He then crouches to the ground, letting out strange grunting sounds. The footage continues, but we'll stop it here. When the family reviewed this clip, they were understandably shaken. They had no idea who this man could be or what he might have been doing near their home. Some viewers have speculated that he could be possessed, while others believe he might be suffering from a mental health crisis. What do you think? Is this a case of possession, or is it something else entirely? In this unusual footage captured by a home security camera, a small humanoid figure appears in the backyard in the middle of the night. The creature seems to emerge from near the house and walks across the yard before disappearing from view. Its small stature and humanoid shape have led the homeowner to suspect that it might be a duende. The concept of duendes is popular in Latin American and Iberian folklore, where they're believed to be elusive, tricky beings that sometimes make their presence known to humans. Typically depicted as small, with childlike or exaggerated features, these entities are said to inhabit rural areas, hidden spaces, or in some stories, even within homes. Could this footage really be a duende, or might there be a more rational explanation for the small figure caught on tape? This next footage doesn't have a specific location, but it allegedly came from a trail camera set up in a dense forest. Judging by the setup, it looks like a hunter had placed the camera hoping to spot some game. Instead, what the camera captured is truly bizarre. A massive, white-furred creature walked by on two legs. It was almost hidden in the thick fog, but the distinctive white fur stood out enough to be seen. Many viewers are saying this could be a Yeti, similar to Bigfoot's. Yetis are known for their white fur and are typically associated with the mountains of Asia. What do you think, though? Could this really be a Yeti? In this eerie clip, a girl was filming a casual video in the city when a friend holding the camera. She walked into the camera's view, chatting and posing, not noticing anything unusual around her. But as the footage plays back, something strange is visible in the background. Behind her, two other girls suddenly appear out of nowhere, already mid-stride as they walk away. No one in the area seemed to notice them, not even the girl filming, until she reviewed the footage later. Could this be a case of time travel, a glitch in reality, or perhaps even a crossing between parallel universes?
Taking hard-boiled eggs, and I don't know if the phone will pick up that, but does it sound like it's chirping?
We all enjoy eating eggs, whether they're cooked, fried, or however you prefer. We know eggs come from birds, and typically we collect them before they've had a chance to incubate and turn into chicks. Well, a woman bought some eggs, placed them in a pot of water, and started to boil them. As the water heated up, she noticed something unusual. There were faint chirping sounds coming from the pan, and one of the eggs seemed to vibrate whenever the chirping happened. The footage ends there, so we don't know what happened next, but it seems like one of those eggs might have already been incubating or partially developed. If that's the case, then the bird in it was definitely trying to escape the heat. That's not a thought I'd like to dwell on. Anyway, have you ever experienced anything like this?
Making hard-boiled eggs, and I don't know if the phone will pick up that, but does it sound like it's chirping?
One night, while working a late shift, this man found himself alone in the middle of the woods. As he went about his tasks, he suddenly started hearing loud moans coming from somewhere in the darkness around him. The eerie sounds echoed through the trees. According to the man, a colleague of his had passed away not too long before. With no other explanation for the strange noises and feeling unsettled by the surroundings, he began to believe that the moans were of his late colleague, somehow calling out to him from beyond. Could this be a spirit reaching out, or perhaps just the sounds of the forest playing tricks on him? In this next video, a man decided to take a quick recording of himself during the day. He set his phone beside him on the bed, filming without much thought, capturing what seemed to be a simple, peaceful moment. But as he later watched the footage, he noticed something chilling. There, above him, was a face staring directly down almost inches from his own. The man insists that he was entirely alone at the time. He didn't see or feel anything unusual while filming and was looking right at the space where the face appeared. So what or who is this face?
record this video, but I honestly can't even comprehend what I saw last night. I'm out here in the middle of nowhere. I was sleeping, dead asleep last night, above my cab. All of a sudden, I heard something rummaging through my cab. Like, ran. It was on two legs, so it definitely wasn't a bear.
This woman went camping in the woods with her camper van, and on the first night, she saw something unsettling outside. There was a creature rummaging through the bin she had left out. It was walking on two legs, something that seemed eerily human-like. She thought it could be some animal, but the way it moved left her curious and a little unnerved. Determined to capture whatever it was, she set up a camera to film through the night. Hours passed until, late into the night, she finally caught something on film. There, a dark figure, barely visible, moving behind a tree. The camera quality wasn't great, but there was clearly something large shifting through the trees. So what do you think this could be? A Bigfoot, some animal, or maybe something entirely unexpected? Right now across the United States, a massive and underreported wave of wildfires is spreading, displacing millions and devastating vast areas. The East Coast, which isn't typically known for fires of this scale, is now showing multiple active fire alerts across many states. When you check fire maps, you'll see fires scattered throughout the region. Then, looking at the West Coast, there are significant fires as well, though this area is more accustomed to wildfire seasons. But the situation becomes even more alarming as you go up to the Pacific Northwest. Fires have spread across the region, and it doesn't stop there. The problem extends into Canada. In British Columbia and Alberta, wildfires are burning millions of acres, scorching thousands of acres of land at a time. This wildfire crisis is severe, affecting countless people, ecosystems, and homes, yet it seems to be getting a little attention. Could it be that there's so much else happening right now that these fires aren't making headlines, or is there a little more sinister reason for the silence? A man decided to set up an SLS, structured light sensor camera, in his home after experiencing a series of strange activities in his home. Take a look at what he caught on camera. In the footage, there are green stick figure-like shapes moving around the room. The figures resemble human forms mapped out by the camera's sensors. These figures are seen moving around and even appear to be throwing things. But here's where things get really strange. At one point, two of the figures vanished, leaving just one that continued to walk around the table. A lot of people believe SLS cameras can capture spirits, yet we tend to think of ghosts as entities that can pass through solid objects. So could this be genuine, or is there more to the story? What do you think?
Okay, this is crazy. Look.
A woman was out filming when she stumbled upon an area blanketed in dried leaves. However, one particular leaf caught her eye. It was just hanging there, suspended in mid-air with no branch or string to hold it up. She reached out, grabbed it, and tossed it toward the ground. But instead of falling, the leaf defied gravity and floated right back up, lingering in the air as if bound by some invisible force. What could explain this strange phenomenon? Is it just an unusual trick of nature, or could there be something more mysterious at play?
Okay, this is crazy. Look.
woman driving on a South Carolina highway caught some strange lights moving in the clouds above. Oddly enough, another person recorded the same lights at LaGrange, Georgia, showing these mysterious orbs dancing through the sky. Many believe it could be a UFO, while others have a different theory. One commenter mentioned it might just be a spotlight, similar to the ones used nightly in Niagara Falls, Canada, which cast beams spinning around the sky. So what do you think? Are we looking at an extraterrestrial visitor, or just some impressive stage lighting? Vampire legends have captivated people for centuries, often seen as tales of folklore or bedtime stories. Yet vampire hunts and fears of these creatures once felt real enough to lead to strange burial practices meant to trap these supposed vampires in their graves. In 2022, archaeologists in Poland discovered a fascinating example, the remains of what was believed to be a vampire in a cemetery. This burial was estimated to be around 400 years old, and it included some unusual measures to prevent the deceased from rising. The skeleton had a padlock around its foot and a sharp sickle laid across its neck, symbols that were meant to keep the spirit bound to its grave. Using forensic testing and 3D reconstruction, experts pieced together the face and identity of this mysterious individual, who they named Zozia. But was Zozia truly a vampire, or simply a misunderstood figure caught in the crosshairs of myth and superstition? What do you think? Imagine waking up at dawn, just about to leave for work, only to find a lion staring you down at the bottom of the stairs. Well, that's exactly what happened to this man in his apartment complex. He opened his door, ready for the day, and there it was, a full-grown lion looking straight up at him. Without panicking, he calmly retreated into his room, probably already planning to take a day off. Honestly, who could blame him? And the bigger mystery is, how did a lion even end up inside the building? With everyone still asleep, the whole situation feels surreal. Forget ghosts. This real-life encounter is terrifying in a whole different way. This man heads out early one morning to take out the trash, only to find his garbage floating in the air. He's baffled. To check if he's seeing things, he sticks his leg underneath, and there is nothing. No wires, no stands, and no logical explanation in sight, just his trash can seemingly levitating in front of him like it's decided to perform a little magic trick overnight. What is going on here? Is it a prank, some clever optical illusion, or could it be a glitch in reality itself? Aaron shared this video with me a few weeks ago. It was posted by a resident who lives near a hospital, and the footage was captured by a surveillance camera set outside the hospital facing the entrance. One night, something unexpected happened at the site of the hospital. A small light flashed and suddenly a bright figure appeared, landing on the ground before quickly flying off. When the footage was slowed down, the figure looked humanoid with glowing wings and what seemed to be a bright white robe. Some viewers are convinced it's an angel, possibly coming to guide us all to the afterlife. But honestly, I think it could be a hoax. What do you all think? These men were working at a storage facility. The place looks like an apartment complex, but it's meant strictly for storing belongings, not for anyone to live in. One day, as they started their shift, they heard something chilling. It was the loud voice of a child talking and even screaming. Not in a frightening way, but just the way kids can sometimes be really loud. Kids aren't allowed there, and no one is supposed to be living in these units. The men were too spooked to investigate further, wondering if it could be a ghostly child. So what do you think? Could there be someone secretly living there, or is this an eerie encounter with something supernatural? This next piece of footage is truly disturbing, and parts of it were even censored due to how graphic it is.
Oh, God. No. Oh, my God. No. Oh.
A police officer was on patrol late one night when he encountered a woman standing in the middle of the road. Her back was turned to him, and she was wearing a short white robe.